Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight, we have another legend. It's going to be Joe Pass, or Joe Pass, if you live in the USA. So we're going to be looking at Joe's performance of Ain't Misbehaving, so let's get him up on screen and see how he gets on. I'm just going to jump in here because Joe's playing with that right hand is so cool. Not a pick in sight here, all finger style. The fact that he's picking out notes so accurately, but also what's just as impressive is the right hand is the left hand. The fact that Joe can just instantly switch to chord shapes and jazz chords and so many different variations of chords up the fretboard in an instant. His muscle memory has absolutely got it down. And the other thing about Joe is he makes it so accessible. And what I mean by that is the fact that he plays with such melody that you've always got a reference point. Sometimes when you see jazz players or you hear them play and they haven't got a band, it's sometimes hard when they go down an avenue to find where they are in relation to the key. If they've got a bass player or the rest of the band who's actually playing off them, you can start to get an appreciation of where they are, where the key is and where he's going. But when you're just playing a guitar by itself and playing jazz in this particular style, Joe is so great at giving you reference points. And to watch out for in the rest of this video, listen to the bass notes, listen to the root notes that Joe throws in. He's playing lead, but he's always giving you a reference point at the bottom of that guitar so that you know what key you're in, and the lines that he's playing, you can relate it to something. But listen out for that as we now continue to see more of this performance. Just going to jump in there because that was a great example of Joe giving us the root notes, really showing what he's doing. So there is so much going on here technically to result in this sound. It's almost like Joe is playing lead guitar and he's got a bassist playing a walking bass line for him, but Joe is actually supplying the whole band himself here. He's just playing that bass line and lead at exactly the same time. So technically it's really impressive as well. And Joe absolutely nails this, and it's why he's such a great legend of jazz. The fact that he can play and so many people can access it and listen to it and understand it because he's got the technical ability to actually do this and play the root notes at the same time as the lead. a lot of lesser players will just go off on a lead break and totally forget that the audience is totally lost as to where this player is going. But Joe has just got such a great, mindful approach for his audience, but also for the melody of the piece that he's playing. Some of those chord shape that he's throwing together there is so impressive. The other thing is when Joe breaks away from that regimented time signature and way of playing, always giving us those root notes, any lead he's now playing without root notes is now going to stand out because it's different. Like there we saw an amazing little section where so fast across the fretboard, snapping into those chord progressions like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So impressive technically with that left hand but also the right hand, that synchronization to absolutely nail it. Unfortunately with this video, I don't know why, but it gradually decreases in volume towards the end. So we'll try and listen to a little bit more, but if it starts getting a little bit quieter, then I'll stop it before we can't hear anything. Okay, so it's starting to get quite quiet now, and it's not Joe's dynamics that's making it quieter. He does change the dynamics throughout the performance, but this is going to be getting quieter and quieter towards the end, to the point where you can't even hear the audience applaud because it's so quiet. But just getting back to Joe's playing, the fact there we had a great shot of left hand and right hand, so you could see exactly that synchronization that he's got with that right hand and left hand, the fact that he's using those fingers to play all these fast runs where normally you'd be using a pick to alternate pick these runs and economy pick these runs as well, but the fact that Joe can just hover those fingers over and get it so accurate, really amazing technique with that right hand. There's no point in having all this technique if you can't put it together melodically, and that's what Joe does. Especially in jazz, sometimes it can be difficult to latch on to that melody without the reference points, and Joe's so good at always showing you where you are musically. This is why Joe is seen as one of the best jazz guitarists of the 20th century, just because he's got such a great appreciation of technically what it takes to play at this level, but also combines it with melody, which is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what genre you play, what style you play, you've got to pair the techniques with melody and play something that is going to communicate to an audience and keep people interested. And that's exactly what Joe does here. It's a totally different side of artistry that a lot of players miss out on because they spend so long on technique, they forget to combine that with melody and something that is going to speak to an audience and something that's going to make people feel something emotionally for what you're playing. But Joe certainly does that. He literally ticks all the boxes with his playing style, his melody, his composition. Everything is in there. So what an amazing player. I'm going to put the link to this in the description so you guys can check out the whole video if you want to. Thanks for suggesting this one in the first place, and keep those coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!